Hi everybody, and welcome to Crimson Court Abridged. This is an abridged version of the session, and I will be posting one of these every single week after each session, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. The abridged sessions, my hope is for them to be anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour long, depending on what happens in the session. This is a way for you to catch up and be able to be there for the live stream without having to catch up on about 4 hours worth of D&D session. So with that, Crimson Court Abridged, hope you enjoy. Instead of starting our session where we left off, we are going to travel back. Travel back far in time, about 40 years. The halls of Dragon's End have never felt colder. Talon Falkrest, he walks with purpose, but every step echoed in the emptiness of his childhood home. The torches alongside the corridor flicker weak against the cold morning chill, casting long shadows that stretch like grasping hands along the stone walls. Beside him walks Sir Gareth Thornfield, not yet Lord Paramount, keeping pace with a silent understanding, his wings shifting relentlessly underneath his cloak.
"You don't have to face him alone, you know,"
Gareth murmured. Talon exhales, rubs his thumb over the worn grip of his sword hilt.
"I do."
Gareth lets the silence breathe again before speaking.
"He's never forgiven you for leaving."
"I know."
"But she has."
Talon hesitates mid-step, glancing at Gareth, the Owlin simply nodding ahead.
"Queen Elendara will be happy to see you."
The words should have been comforting, but it only made the pain in Talon's chest ache. He hated that he was returning home under these circumstances. He hated that it had taken Edemir's letter to bring him back, and more than anything, he hated that he was nervous to see his brother. They reach the great ironwood doors of the council chamber. Gareth turns to him, clasping his hand on Talon's shoulder.
"Good luck, my friend."
Talon nods, steeling himself for what is about to unfold. Edemir Falkrest stands at the far end of the chamber, tall and thin, his posture flawless, his fine red hair trimmed to precision, and his face carved with an expression of permanent scrutiny. He doesn't smile.
"Good morning, brother."
His voice was smooth, practiced.
"I'm glad to know that in your absence you have not forgotten the meaning of punctuality."
Talon forces a smirk.
"Never, brother. It would do me no honor to be late to a meeting with the future king."
Edemir's sharp gaze flickered in the briefest moment.
"The queen is not dead yet."
His words were cutting, his posture unwavering.
"And you should not speak of her as if she were.
She is still the monarch.
Treat her with the respect she deserves."
Talon sighs, lowering his head in deference.
"My apologies."
Accepted. The words between the two are clipped and cold. Talon studies his brother, searching for some remnant of warmth, but Edemir was a statue, carved from duty and expectations.
"But you are correct."
Edemir moves towards the table, pacing, his gloved hand on the polished wood, his voice steady as stone.
"Soon the queen will pass. God keep her safe in that passage. And you will become Lord Paramount of House Falkrest."
His gaze lifts, piercing.
"Is that something you feel you are truly ready for?"
Talon straightens.
"Of course. It would be my great honor to serve our house."
Small pause. Amused breath exits from Edemir's nose.
"Now that it benefits you in some way."
Talon blinks, his expression darkening. "What was that?"
"Now that it benefits you in some way. Need I speak more clearly?"
Talon's fingers curl into a tight fist at his side.
"No, Ed, I haven't. It is Edemir."
"Edemir." His brother nods, pleased.
"It is important that you understand what is at stake here. You and I are what's left of this house in the coming weeks. You've spent so long out in the world. I need to be sure that you know what is expected of you. You have already missed so much. Talon's breath is slow and measured. He's choosing his words very carefully. You know why I left Edamir. Ah, yes. To play the hero, to escape the past. We all know, brother. So while you were off chasing stories, I was here alone, caring for Mother, assisting her in court, ensuring the kingdom did not fall apart. Oh, of course, I'm sure you were the only one responsible. Edamir always has the answers, Mother. Always listen to me, Mother. I was the responsible one. I always did what was best for our house. But what was best for our family, Edamir? A silence falls between them. Edamir's jaw clenches. It was always for the family. You were just too short-sighted to see it. Talon steps forward, now just a few inches away from his brother. Oh, I saw, brother. I saw how you pushed me out of politics when we were younger. How you never believed I had what it took. You didn't. You never did. Even now, you let your emotions guide you. I have not. You always have. Edamir turns away, walking towards the council chambers, his back turned to Talon. It's clear you did while you were away. He glances over his shoulder. Tell me, brother, what Theonian whore stole your heart to father a child, and for you to bring that bastard back with you? Talon freezes. Edamir presses on. Do you have any idea what that does to our family? To our line? Do not speak of my son in that way. What, Talon? Will you strike me down like some villain from your adventures? I only speak the truth. He is a bastard. In one fell swoop, you return, and any chance you have to save this kingdom is gone. Talon's fist is clenched, his breath heavy. He takes a step forward. He is not a bastard. Do not speak of my son in that way. Edamir simply tilts his head, unimpressed. Tell yourself whatever you like. It doesn't change the truth. And in that moment, you can see Talon, he reaches for the dagger on his belt. But before he can act, the door bursts open. A towering figure stands there, his bronze scales catching the dim torchlight. Rainier Falkrest, his voice heavy, strained. Come, now, both of you. They both turn. The queen, she is fading. Talon's heart plummets. The dagger slips from his fingers. Edamir sweeps by without another word. Well, almost. He mutters one last thing under his breath. As I said, your emotions guide you. A pause. Looking at the dagger now fallen to the ground. Your one chance at king. Gone. You see Rainier shoot Edamir a dark look before turning to Talon as Edamir exits the room, heading towards Elendara's bedchambers. For what it's worth, Talon, I think you'd be a better king than him. Talon swallows, thickly picking up the dagger from the ground and sheathing it. He walks over to Rainier and places a hand on his shoulder. Come. Mother will want to see us. The two nod. And together they leave. As the scene fades to black, later that same day, Elendara, the usurper, savior of Adaria, would die. Later that week, Edemir Falkwest would be crowned King of Adaria, and Talon Falkrest named Lord Paramount. And well, the rest is history, but that's not the last time. We'll be diving back to that time. But for now, our story lies in the present. Eventually, all of you arrive at Crown's Rest. You gather in front of the ironwood doors of the council chambers. And you can see one by one the council members enter. They pay you small honors, nods, small greetings. One by one they enter, and then eventually Talon walks down the hall, escorted by 2 Crown Claw Knights, as well as Lord Regent Gareth Thornfield, and he greets all of you with a smile, very happy for all of you to be back.
Kaelin, go first.
As he and Lord Gareth walk in. So, you head in, Kaelin. You sit down in a chair that is pulled up opposite of your father's. Talon will say,
The questions. I understand, Kaelin, that this was initially something that was supposed to be just between you and I. But after the development of the dragon eggs, we determined that it is best that the council be present, considering that this changes a great deal of the dangers to this kingdom. So, I want you to know that I am sorry to change that on you, especially so last minute.
She nods.
But the questions. So, Kaelin, in your own words, how did you serve the realm during this mission?
Well, I led the conversation between Sir Otis of Gilderos and Lord Balric of Rivermore, and we settled the land dispute of Rosemont and declared the allocation of land to belong to House Astralor. The entirety of the mission, I served as a voice. More importantly, I convinced Elendor to allow us passage to get back to the keep with those dragon eggs. You all know the caliber of that man. Had the eggs been discovered, it could have been disaster for all of us. Death for all of us, and those eggs hold of vital importance to the safety of the realm. I spoke up. I put a halt to his investigation.
And should Elendor have seen through your words, what would you have done then?
He did not see through my words.
But what if he had?
But he had not.
Kaelin, there is a difference between political maneuvering and genuine leadership.
Sure. But there's also a difference between lingering on what-ifs. It didn't happen, so there's no point.
You have to acknowledge that there is a risk in deception, correct?
Correct. But my risk paid off, did it not?
It did. This time. I just hope the next time you are faced with an Elandor, that it also pays off. How many times can you succeed in a lie before you get trapped in one?
and as we finish up the final question, Talon looks to you, Kaelin, for a long moment, and he says,
Kaelin, I want you to answer this, and answer this honestly. Based off of what has happened in Rosemont, the journey there, the journey back, and everything in between, all the conversations you've had with them, and everything that you've done, between you and your siblings, if you had to choose, who would be named heir today? Who would it be?
Myself.
And who would you name Lord or Lady Paramount of our home?
Octavia.
Very good, you are dismissed.
and he'll walk towards the door behind you. He will open the door for you, allowing you to step out, and he will say,
Merrick, my boy, inside. Merrick, in all honesty, where did you struggle, personally? And how did you confront those doubts or fears?
I've been training to fight for a long time. I'm used to tournaments where blades are dulled. Fights can go on for several minutes. It's almost more of a test of endurance rather than strength or skill. I always thought taking a life would be hard. I didn't realize that it could be so easy to do.
It is no easy thing. My prince, many of my sons, they have dealt with similar difficulties. It is no easy thing. For those here who have never had to take a life, I hope that you never have to. Thank you for sharing, Merrick. I know that was most likely very difficult.
Thank you.
And one more thing, Merrick. Between you and your siblings, if you chose who would be named heir, after everything you've seen in Rosemont, the journey there, the journey back, who would you pick? Who would you choose?
Aelin,
You see the council, they look to each other, and Talon says,
Why?
I just saw very little fault in her on this mission.
And who would you name as Lord or Lady Paramount of our home?
Octavia.
Very good. You're dismissed, my boy.
and he will open the door for you, and he'll say,
Xanthi, come. It's your turn.
right. So Xanthi makes her way in the room, sitting down.
So, Xanthi, if you could revisit one moment, what would you do differently?
Well, first, if I may, I would like to mention that I do not believe in regret, in the idea of revisiting moments as if, well, it was a possible thing to do. Though perhaps it wasn't exactly the smoothest of operation as much as we may have wished for it to be. It is future plans of the hand and of any decisions I prefer to listen to look to. I believe that is where change can be made. The past less so. But if that is the question that the council wishes to be answered, I will not deny it. I do not believe that we should have allowed those bandits to go free. They stand as a unfortunate loose end to what we have done. I believe the bringing up of the rumors that has been spread is already proof enough of that. But unfortunately, my siblings were unwilling to pursue them and to deal with them there, and I unable to act unilaterally.
Unwilling, unable. Tell me, Xanthi, how does a leader act unilaterally without dividing those who follow them?
Well, I believe that a leader is able to lead for others who follow them. They can act unilaterally if they know that those with them will follow suit, perhaps regardless of
absolute
their own
loyalty.
political preferences. I believe that loyalty is important. Other opinions, of course, are always warranted and necessary for any group or any organization, no matter what level, no matter what importance. But to act unified and to act as one, that is where strength comes from.
The questioning will continue until eventually we get to the final one.
So, Xanthi, one more question before you depart. If you were to choose anyone between you and your siblings to be heir, who would you choose?
I would choose myself. I believe that is still natural enough, the option.
And who would you choose to be Lord or Lady Paramount of our home?
Marek?
Very good. That is all, Xanthi. You are dismissed.
He'll open the door for you, lead you out, and say,
Via, you're next. Come in.
Yes, okay.
and we get to the question for Via.
So, Via, now that you've seen the consequences, do you stand by your choice? Or have your convictions changed?
No. Not really. I think we, at least as far as the owner of Rosemont specifically, I think we may have skipped a few steps necessary in making a decision. We based our decision mostly in the history that we found which is necessary. I mean, I'm glad we did that, but once we started speaking with them, there's more going on today than what could have been written in those ledgers. And
Yes.
I can't stand by personally and say that my mind wouldn't have possibly been changed if we would have gotten to know them better.
He will move on to that final question and say,
So, considering everything we've talked about and everything you saw, who would you choose to be heir between you and your siblings?
There's two, I think, that are the strongest options. I think right now I'd say Merritt.
And who would you choose to be Lord or Lady Paramount of Skyhaven?
Kaylin.
Very good. You're dismissed, Octavia.
he'll open the door and he will step out and look towards all of you and say,
Well, I believe that concludes it. Thank you all for taking the... I know it was difficult, but I do appreciate you all being open and honest.
he waits for a moment, expectantly almost.
Edwin speaks up and goes,
No.
Sorry, my king. Do you not need to hear from me?
Ah, yes, Edwin, please, come in. What was the cost of your decisions, both for the kingdom and for you personally, on this mission?
Well, House Rivermore, for obvious reasons, well, does not hold us in the greatest of light anymore after we've settled the dispute. Well, as peace was issued. For now, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future. For me personally, I mean, no matter what decision we make, we don't know what's going to happen. We just have to trust.
Well, there is some truth to that, my prince, but you do not need to be a master of divination to have some guess, I'd say.
Oh, I totally agree. We went with our gut feeling, all of us. We decided who we thought was best to oversee the land. We had a very good discussion with the two to make sure that they played nice, but overall, from that standpoint onward, trust is the biggest thing, right? Until trust is broken, it's all we have.
Is something bothering you, Edwin?
Many things are bothering me, my lords, but where should I start? Most of them aren't meant for court. I'm just curious. It's probably nothing, but it seems like I was almost forgotten.
I'm sorry, my boy. I meant no ill intent by it. My brain simply isn't what it used to be. You'll have to forgive me.
No, it's perfectly fine, my king. Makes perfect sense. No, nothing else is bothering me.
I'm sorry, my prince. And please, as he looks to Talon, I hope I am not placing myself within crossfire that I should soon regret being placed into. But your father's memory is comparable to that of a steel trap. You believe him?
I have to go on the word of the king. If what he says is he forgot, then he forgot.
Very well. One final question, Edwin, before you depart. If I were to name you as heir today, put an end to the king's hand and say it's been resolved, you are king, should you want it, would you accept? Or would you deny me? In this moment, I promise I will not string you up for treason for denying the king. I will accept whatever decision you give me. Would you accept it?
Edwin's face goes flush, like a fever has him. Anxiety just over his whole body.
When you see some of the council members react the same.
Wow. Sorry. This is a large question. It's something I haven't thought of in a very long time. No, I don't think I would.
You see he looks to the council members.
Like long at each one.
And he looks back to you. Who would you choose then? Who would you choose to be king or queen?
If I had to choose, Kaelin. Kaelin is my answer.
Thank you, my boy. However, you're not dismissed quite yet, as there's still other business we need to attend to. If you would, go gather the rest of your siblings. We have the eggs to discuss.
All of you make your way in. There is a lot of tension here. This has been a very long day so far.
And all of you look towards
The table where all three of the dragon eggs sit.
This is something beyond reckoning that all of you have uncovered. I want you to understand that very clearly. And, well, there is one more person who must arrive before we begin, but nothing could have prepared us for this.
And a few moments pass, and there is a knock at the door as the Crown Claw Knights open them, and walking through is Lady Solara Astralore. With that, a vote will commence. So, let's see. As the voting is done, keep the eggs, destroy the eggs. All right, Edwin, what do you vote?
Keep them.
Andy?
Destroy them. They can be either friend or tool, but not both. And only one brings benefit.
Talon will look to you, Merrick.
Keep it.
Kaylin.
Keep them.
Via.
Yeah. Via's gonna look to Merrick with a really sad expression. Destroy them.
So we'll go one by one. Lord Regent Gareth would say,
While I do see value in an investment, the house that would suffer the most under a reign of dragons is House Thornfield. Not only do we have to feed them, but we suffer the most when our land is bathed in dragon fire or whatever ghastly element it may be. My vote is to destroy them.
Sir Davian, or Lord Davian, the Spymaster says,
I vote to destroy them.
Lady Elendra Malus.
I vote to destroy them.
Lady Alaris speaks.
My stance on this is already clearly known.
We should keep them.
I also believe that we should keep the dragons. Much can be learned from them.
And Talon, as he kind of sighs and says,
What's the point of putting it up to a vote if I'm the tiebreaker anyway? I will vote that we keep the eggs. And in the absence of Rainier, that is 6 votes for keep, 5 votes for destroy. We will keep the eggs. They will be transferred to your tower, Morgana, and all of us will have access to them at all times. All times, Morgana. Do you understand? 4 of the Crown Claw Knights, the 4 that I trust most, will always be posted there to ensure that nothing happens to them. You may go and see them anytime you want, but as I said, a word leaves this council chamber for any of you, and I will find out. I will know. And there will be a price to pay. My child or not, a price will be paid. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Father.
Crystal?
Yes.
Always.
Good. You are all dismissed.
So, with that, all of you kind of separate for a moment, and then eventually, all of you convene as you travel to your new home. You all have been asked to be held at the gates until all of you arrive. So, there is a bit of awkward moment as all of you are kind of sitting there, like one by one, arriving, as they're actually not letting you through the iron wrought gates yet. The Crown Claw Knights will see that all of the children have arrived, and one will say to the other to go retrieve the Chamberlain and inform him that all of the heirs have arrived. You see, stepping down the stairway that leads up into the manor, an individual renowned for his formality and loquaciousness. Chamberlain Theophilus Brigsby. You all see the tall, impeccably dressed lizard folk stepping down the stairs, the emerald green scale shimmering in the bright light of the sun, and these tall, elaborate, regal frills expand like a Elizabethan collar around his neck.
And he says, "Ah, the most distinguished guest, radiant, venerable heirs to the throne of Adaria. How the very stones of House Folkrest have trembled in anticipation of your arrival. As all of you already know, I am Chamberlain Theophilus Brigsby, or in this scenario, you may just call me Master Brigsby, a humble servant of this most exalted hall, and entrusted with the sacred duty of maintaining its magnificence and ensuring that every need of my illustrious masters is met with unerring precision."
You see his tail makes a very precise flick behind him.
Now, dear masters, may I offer a most dignified tour of your new resplendent residence?
And allow me to share an image.
Give me a...
Give it.
I've been waiting for
Give
so
it right
long.
now. Give it here.
Give me it.
Chamberlain.
He sounds like a hoot. He's a little
There
guy.
you go.
He sounds like
Oh, I
a
love
Look
little
at
guys.
him. Look at him.
Yes.
Well, that is the manner. As I said, if there is anything else I can do for you, I would be happy. It would be the greatest pleasure of my life to assist you in it. But it has been a very busy week, a very busy month, as I know. If all of you would wish to return to your bedchambers and come to feast on dinner whenever you are ready, that is very fine. In fact, I will say, in one final thing, I apologize, my prince, for interrupting you. Some of you have already received messages of individuals who wish to speak with you. Those have been placed in your bedchambers.
Requests of petitions or communications. So each one of you do have a letter from one of who at some point in time would be very interested in speaking with you. Xanthi, you have a letter, a request from Sir Otis of Gildarrow Keep, who actually wishes to speak with you regarding an issue related to something he'd like to petition to King Talon and is seeking your advice on it. Kaelin, Lord Regent Gareth Thornfield wishes to speak with you in relation to problems between the Serpent's Grove and House Thornfield, and he'd like to pick your brain on potentially how to solve that issue. Merrick, you have received a petition from Lady Elendra Malus, vassal of House Veltaris, who wishes to speak to you just to check in, based off everything that happened and the connection you had with the eggs. She wants to make sure you're doing okay. As a vassal, she feels it's her duty to ensure that you feel confident and you feel as good as you can. And Via Morgana does wish to speak with you. She says that the more she's thought about it, the more she's not sure about Isadora and would like to pick your brain a little bit more about who could potentially be a good match for the role you filled. And then finally, Edwin, you have a message from Sir Davian Thallon, the spy master. All his message says is the Reaches alone tonight. The rest of the day passes rather quickly. Edwin, how do you get out of the keep grounds without anyone seeing you?
Oh, that's right. He says, "Don't be." Did he say come alone?
Yeah,
he said, "Don't
"Come
be
alone."
seen."
He said, "Come alone." And I mean, yeah, I guess you can leave of your own volition. But what are you telling the guards when one of the potential heirs to the throne is trying to leave by himself?
I mean, he's just gonna walk out the front gate, and then when he gets stopped, he'll talk to him.
Excuse me, my prince. We were instructed to make sure that, especially in the evening, that all of you stay within the walls for your own safety. If you wish to head out into the city, we'll be happy to escort you, though.
No escort is necessary. I have a request by the king. I must leave now.
Try your best to stay away from the Reaches. God forbid the Undercity.
You begin to head out and away. You have been to the Reaches before. It is sort of that bordering area between the upper city, the heights, the Reaches, and the Undercity. It is sort of the middle of that sandwich. And you can see the degrading happen as this kind of gradient over the city, as the manor is within the upper city. So there's two different gatehouses that you have to pass through in order to get there. But eventually, you do arrive within the Reaches. You weren't really given any instruction on where to go. So what is Edwin doing as he gets to the Reaches?
And he's just gonna kind of look around. He's gonna try to ascertain where Spy Master might go.
The last person that you seem to ask is a beggar, an individual who is sort of sitting on the corner, and they look up to you and they say,
You're looking for a small folk?
Yes.
Well, I'd be happy to point you in a direction of. I saw small folk walking this way just some time ago.
He goes into his pocket and throws a gold at him.
Thank you, good sir. You are too kind. He
doesn't
traveled.
throw it at him, but he hands it to him.
yeah.
He traveled that way, towards a temple down the road. Run down, not very well kept up, but still open all hours. Should individuals needed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And gives him another gold. You have a good night. Stay safe.
You as well, good sir.
Rights himself, stands up, and looks towards where he pointed and goes towards the temple.
Okay. Eventually, you make your way to the sort of rundown temple. You can see there are some candles lit around the room, and you can see one priest in here. Not a small folk, though, a human man. His vestments are, tattered and ruined. A chapel dedicated to the Church of the Unbroken, the order you belong to.
Edwin. You see the human man. He turns and says, "Hello, my son. Is there something I can assist you with this evening?"
Yes, Father. I'm looking for a halfling, a small folk. I was pointed in this direction.
I'm sorry, my son, but sadly, no halfling, no small folk at all have come here anytime recently. Not in several days, at least. My son, if you don't mind me asking, it looks as though something weighs heavy on you.
You're a good judge of character. Many things weigh heavy on me, Father, but I would love to talk about all of them. I don't have the time, unfortunately.
Well, I know time is such a fickle thing nowadays and always in short supply, but join me, and perhaps we can pray together for just a minute. Perhaps whatever troubling you will have the slightest bit of relief.
You sit there and you pray for a moment, and as you open your eyes, the father's gone. And instead, kneeling next to you is Sir Davian.
Well, it took you a bit longer to find the place, but I'm glad that you finally found it.
What, is the manner of our meeting tonight?
I wanted to ask you, Edwin, after everything that transpired within those council hall chambers, how do you feel about all this?
I don't mean to be disrespectful, Spy Master. But why are you asking these questions?
If you will allow me this kindness, my prince, I will answer your question if you answer one of mine first.
That is only fair. I'm confused. I am angry. I am sad. I have many emotions at the moment about what transpired today. Now it is your time to answer my question.
Why do I care?
Why do you want to know?
The clergy, not just of the Church of Unity, but Church of the Unbroken, even certain members of the Church of the Cleansing Tempest, of Church of the Broken Sun, are members within each of those churches that whisper your name, Edwin. They desire clergymen such as yourself to be, well, considered important in this world. I believe it was wrong what the council proposed Talon do.
That was a proposition from the council. What my father asked me today?
Intentionally ignoring you, yes it was. Sadly. Rather cruel, I think. It's not fair. You are the firstborn son, after all. And I think, deep down, I think that Talon does want you to have it. In some world, he does, I think.
That's flattering. It's flattering that so many people speak my name through the churches, and that possibly deep down, Father wants me to have the throne, but as I stated today, I do not.
Yes, Edwin, I heard you, as did the rest of the council. But do you really think it's a choice?
Up until now, I did. What are you talking about, Spy Master?
It is a choice for Talon, who is crowned. He will choose. And God's willing, he will choose correctly.
If he's to choose correctly, then why not choose one of the ones that want it?
You know, Edwin, Father Aldrin Stillwater, he speaks very highly of your accomplishments in the lands of the Know-Nothing. And I hear that you have made a rather strong connection with the High King, isn't that right? A rather strong connection.
Where did you hear that?
Well, the clergy, they sit, they listen, whether it be in confession booths or spreading alms.
They hear a great deal. The clergy sees you as the only truly viable option as a ruler. Do you know what unites the people of Adaria? Faith. The fact that even when their kings spread their blood, their gods are there to console them. Kings betray you. Gods, well, they will always hear you. They will always listen. It is of the best interest of the people of this nation, Edwin, and of the church, of all churches of Adaria, that you pursue it. For if you do not, I fear that these strong ties in the Nonathi, I'd hate to see what happened to them.
So this is what you mean by, do I think I have a choice? So the church is deeming, it doesn't seem like I do. The church is deeming I go after the crown. What, so that I can get into a feud with my family? I am a bastard. And I've been told that my entire life since I was 2 years old. And now I have some sort of claim?
Well, Edwin, as I see it, you have let others define you your entire life, and now we define you again. So is now the time for you to truly break against that? To defy what others have told of you? No, Edwin, because that is not who you are. The church has deemed it so you will do it. Or else...
Or else what?
It's a great shame that Nonathi houses are made of nothing more than straw and wood. It's so sad how quickly fire can spread. Don't you think?
You wouldn't dare.
I must do what is right for this nation as divined by the gods. Enjoy the rest of your evening, my prince. It was a great honor for you to grace me in this hallowed hall. He will stand and bow, and he'll leave.
Yeah, after he leaves, just tears. And he, stands up in anger, and light starts to pour out of his hands, and he just screams, and guiding bolts just start shooting out of his hands.
Blasting holes in the patched up wooden roof of this church. But in at least a small moment, there is a burst of radiance in this otherwise desiccated and desecrated hall. And Edwin, as we zoom out that evening, that's not where we're going to end our session. We are instead going to pan out, not very far from the Reaches, as we are going to travel to the front gate of Crown's Rest. You can see the Crimson Grove sprawling against the towering walls of the capital, and watchmen stand at their post. Above on the walls, actually on top of the gatehouse, looking out for any attackers, any riders, as the gates are closed this evening, not allowing anyone else into the city. You can see the green and white cloaks and armor, the lever action rifles on their back, and their shields and swords posted up near them. Not ready for attackers right now, as they just sit calmly.
So,
King's Hand.
The younger of the two, Corwin, shifts his weight, glancing towards the road leading back into the kingdom. His helm is just a little bit too big for his head, so there's this leather strap against his chin.
I hope it don't mean war comes, Captain keeps talking about it. Now it's getting closer and closer every day.
His companion
Joran, an older man with a patchy beard and tired eyes, he lets out a bit of a snort, adjusting the grip of his halberd.
As long as one of them takes the throne proper, we'll be fine. Don't matter which.
Corwin shrugs, his arms crossed. I don't know. They say the youngest barely seen a fight, but they threw her in the thick of it anyhow. Octavius girl, forget her name totally. Joran, he chuckles dryly.
I wouldn't put my money on her.
Corwin grins, kind of emboldened by the conversation. You know though, Xanthi, it's a real scary one, yeah? Heard she almost burned a man to the ground where he stood. I ain't the type to forgive either. Probably throw a man in chains just for looking at her wrong. Joran grunts, considering.
You know, it might be what we need. Maybe that eldest, the priest, right? And when he's been over in the with the you know, the big fuckers, they got the in the snow, you know.
You mean the Narendi, right?
Yeah, Narendi, that's the one. Yeah, thank you. I mean, he's seen fighting, right? So he should know how to handle things like that. I'll say that's more than most lords can say, right?
Yeah, I think so. And he kind of looks up towards the floating keep of Dragon's End.
All of them in that bloody storming keep, though.
At the end of the day, bunch of heirs with no real experience, though. No real battles under their belt. You heard they took down a whole fort. You reckon that's true? No experience, they just stormed the keep. I heard in the tavern, I heard there was 400 soldiers there. And with a force of 50, they took the keep. And one of them got taken hostage, though. Yeah, it was that Xanthi. Yeah. And then she apparently got one of them on fire, burned him as a message, but then they let some of them go. You hear that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's rumors. That's all it is. And that don't matter anyway. People call it the Battle of Serwyn Keep anyway. Folk love stories. And love heroes even more. What's better than 50 taking on 400? One taking on 1,000? You hear stories about that Rainier Sentinel? Yeah. Apparently, through all the taverns of Crown's Rest, he's told the same story, far different ways, about taking out some fire giants. What's a fire giant? Never heard of that. What, a big fire? I can put out a big fire. Give me a bucket of water.
And the two of them start laughing. And it kind of fades, and there's a quiet pause. The leaves rustle.
I mean, if I'm being entirely honest, though,
at least they're doing something, right? It's better than most laws, ladies. Tell me, when was the last time the king ever did anything for you and me? Well, I've got a helmet, don't even fit right. What? Kingdom run out of money? Can't afford better leather straps? Huh?
It's improper to speak that way. He's the king. You got to respect him. He's done a lot of good, he has. Yeah. I'm sure whatever happens, it'll be for the best. I've still got faith in that. Talon. Yeah, King Talon, that's his name. The kind, right? He's the kind. He's a good guy. Always been, right? Yeah. You're just young. Yeah, you youngins, you're antsy, that's all.
And the two quiet down. Just looking out for whatever might come. And a few moments later, it arrives. The sound of hooves, ragged, stumbling, echoes down the road. Two guards straighten, their hands kind of tightening on their weapons, and a solitary rider emerges from the trees. The horse is barely standing, its coat matted with sweat and blood, foam dripping from its mouth, its breath labored. It moves in this agonizing slowness, each step closer to collapse than the last. And atop it, a ruined figure sways in the saddle. Rainier Falkrest, a sentinel of Adaria, missing for a month without word, without trace. He barely clings to the reins, his once pristine armor shattered, his bronze scales slick with dried blood. But what hangs from his waist is what steals the air from the guard's lungs. 10 heads strung together on twine. A grisly display, their faces frozen in agony, the eyes hollowed out. Jordan staggers back, his voice... Jesus Christ. Jordan staggers back, his voice caught in his throat.
Gods! What in God's name?
The horse lurches again forward, and the lantern light reveals the final horror. The sigil painted on the flank of the horse in blood. 3 dragons' fangs, their points curving inward, an ancient and terrible mark, and branded onto Rainier's chest, carved deep into his ruined scales, the flesh still raw and seared. And you see Joran, he says,
Stop! Stop, state your business!
Corwin's voice cracks as he says,
Wait, that's the sentinel! That's Rainier Falkrest!
and Rainier doesn't react. He barely breathes. Joran drops his rifle and rushes forward towards the edge and then off to the side, and he says,
Get a healer! Call the council! Get out now! Somebody! Open the gate, please! Somebody help! Somebody!
the world is a blur and chaos. Guards opening the gate, rushing towards him, cries of panic and alarm as bells begin ringing through the gates of Crown's Rest. All of you are awoken in the middle of the night, instructed to immediately return to the council chambers. Rainier collapses from his saddle, the last of his strength spent, as the world fades to black. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end our session. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to welcome the King's Hand to level 2. Congratulations, everybody. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did, and we'll see you in the next one.